Hello everybody, Robert Marzullo here, and I just want to do a video today on drawing faces, but this time I'm going to focus on how I practice drawing my character Blackstone from the Blackstone comic, which book one is done and now going to print, and pretty soon it'll be on some digital downloads too, so I'll keep you posted there. But what I want to show you is how I just, my character is pretty easy to draw facial wise, but what I want to get at is that you got to practice different expressions for whatever your character is or whoever your character is. So I'll start with an easy profile shot, and I kind of keep it rough and boxy at first. And generally I'll draw like the cylinder and kind of map everything out and do the construction lines. But this being my character, I've drawn him so much that I generally don't have to do that as much. I know where I want to go with the look of the character, so I'm chiseling out his features. Um, he's actually kind of a glossy black, henceforth the name Blackstone. So I'll just kind of fill in some line work like this, but then a lot of this will get lost or translated into the other type of shading, which will be, like say a glare up here. The light's hitting on the top, so it'd be a glare on the brow, glare on the cheek, stuff like that. But I'm not going to focus too much on that. I kind of just want to show you how I'd go about drawing different um, facial, expressions for the character. And he's pretty simple. He just has kind of an ear bump here. He doesn't have a nose, so he's an alien. So I could draw him any way I wanted, and I wanted him to look, humanoid-esque, but to be a little bit, alien looking. I didn't want to be too humanoid other than the humanoid shape. And you find out in the story, why he looks the way he does and, why he's this Black Mirror type skin, where he gets that from and all that. So, you have to check out the book to see all that. I won't explain too much on the character, but okay, so there's the profile. A lot of times I like starting off with something like that to warm up, because profiles to me are probably the easiest thing to draw. They don't take a whole lot of imagination to get that shot. And from there, let's try some other ones. And here I'll probably do a little bit more of the construction lines, so I can explain the process more. Let's pretend that this is a downward shot on the face, which is also pretty easy to draw, but it does take a little bit more than definitely than a profile. What I like to define here is make sure that I get the chin the way I want it here, where I want the jaw to protrude on the side, and to me that kind of defines the angle of the head a lot. And then from this point, the head will be larger, and I guess that's the other thing. The head will be larger up top than it will be where the chin is, uh, because we're prospectively looking down at the head. Okay, so, and even to make this more apparent, I'll draw like kind of a neck cylinder, and the shoulders become higher when you're looking down on the character, and the chest starts to roll out this way. Okay, so there's the downward shot. Now the line down the middle, the line usually halfway down, but since we're looking down again at the character, it's going to be a little bit further than halfway down for the eyes, and so on and so forth, and to where the mouth is right at the, pretty much resting on the chin, or where the chin comes up. The mouth should be right there, because it's going to help convey that dimension that we're viewing down on this character. So I usually start with the brows like that, and quickly move to where the cheekbone is. And I don't know why this helps, but since I drew the profile, it for some reason gives me a better mental picture to go to the next drawing, and so on and so forth. I don't know if you're watching this, if you work that way. It's just me personally, it seems to help. So try that, see if that works for you also. Alright, so the brows. Now the trick is here too, since the again it's a downward angle, the brow is gonna sit over the eye more. So you want to kind of tuck those eyes deep into the brow area or the recess of the um, ocular cavity, whatever that is, so that you get a little bit more of that perspective that you're looking down on the character. And he doesn't have a nose, but he does have the form of which it comes out. You can see it here on the profile. But he still has kind of that bump where the nasal cavities would be, but just not an actual nose there. So, and all the same wrinkles, lap line features, but when drawn would be converted to white lines since he's a predominantly dark black finish on his skin tone. So there's that. Cheekbones. Now the cheekbones would also appear to be higher from this angle. So here I didn't really show this, but this would probably come up a little bit higher like that. And then the brow here. Okay, and now the mouth, like I said, would be really low. And just to make it easy, we'll just have him kind of doing this frown. Nothing too hard to draw. The bottom lip would be pretty low against the chin like that. And I want to say that the chin would be even more hidden than I've got it here, but practice your own, see what works for you. I don't claim to be the greatest at things like this, but I just, I'm actually, while I'm showing you this, I'm doing my own practice. That's really what this is for me. So what I love about YouTube, I can sit there and show people that might be, trying to learn something that I've already learned or in the process of learning, but I can show that off, and all the while, practicing myself and learning, going to the next level, hopefully. So, it's a pretty fun way to practice and interact with people. So, hopefully, you guys get something out of this. That'd be great. Okay, so there's that downward perspective. Neck looks a little bit thick right there, but this is just sketches anyways to kind of get a feel for some different scenes that I can use. And I'm working on book 2 now of this comic, so I want to really strive to make each book stand out from the one before. So I like to do a lot of practicing when I can in between drawing those panels and scenes and stuff, just so that I can hopefully show the improvement from book to book. That's the entire goal for me. So, and also it's like right here, since we're looking down on the character, that top lip's going to appear to be more shallow, and the bottom lip will actually point back more into the line like this. If you can see where I'm drawing as I'm drawing it, all those things combined will give the illusion that you're looking down on the character more. And if you have to, just keep covering up the eyes a little bit more with the brow. I'm not digging this shot a lot right there, but hopefully it conveys what I'm trying to explain. And maybe the chest would be a little bit higher up and the chin would be lower in comparison to that. Okay, so let's move to the next shot. Again, there'd be highlights on the top surfaces depending where the light's coming from. Okay, so now we've got a downward angle, a profile. I'm going to save the upshot for last because that's my arch nemesis, is the upshot. Absolutely can't stand it really. But let's try a different facial expression, and let's do this at more of a straight on shot, maybe just a tiny bit of an upshot, but not the dramatic one I'm talking about that seems to perplex me. So let's take more of a straight on shot. Let's angle the neck away from the head. That always gives a little bit more dynamic to the pose. Nothing worse than the character being straight up, uh, body features and the head straight all the time. You want to tilt that for your expressions. You want to tilt the neck, you want to tilt the shoulders. A big one's to make the shoulders separate, at a separate angle from the pelvic bone or whatever, because it just shows more expression in the body movement, and a good bend to the spine is always another good one. So on this one, we'll do like kind of the surprised, slightly open mouth. So I'll fill that in first. Now, a lot of guys will tell you to draw the eyes first, and that's fine. But the reason why I go to the mouth first is because in this case, and you see I still kind of put where the eyes are going to go, the nose if there was one. But the reason why I do the mouth first is because it's the biggest change in the face at this point of the scene that I'm drawing, or the facial expression that I'm drawing. So I like to get that out of the way. Kind of like swallow the biggest frog first, attack the biggest or hardest, most difficult area first. That's why I do that. So now the rest to me is kind of cake, and I can kind of position the eyes. See, I think I want to bring those a little bit higher. Like I said, this is a tad bit of an upshot. And he's kind of surprised, so the eyes are wider open, like that. The brows are going to be kind of more tilted back. Again, like he's surprised or doesn't understand something or caught off guard or whatever. Again, kind of fill in some of the little lines and laugh lines, whatever. I'm going to see a little bit of the bottom of the teeth because of the nature of the upshot. And then the brow is going to appear to be higher on the head now because, again, it's a bit of an upshot. So all those features get pushed up a little bit higher and a little bit less seen from this angle. And let's see the lights from the side on this one. There. And I'm not really drawing the alien in this scene a lot, if you notice, but Blackstone actually has a parasite tentacle alien bonded to his back, and you'll have to read the story and figure out what that's all about, but that's part of the character. So traditionally I'd be drawing this guy right here with him, because he is part of him, after book 1. And I liked incorporating that, or I wanted the character to be different, and I figured how different would it be to have like an attached alien that's changing your what you really want to be, what you're trying to do, attached to you. That's what the nature of the character is, and the alien. I'll just give you a bit of it. The alien basically forces him to be a hero that he never wanted to be. So that's the idea, and he's trying to figure out a way to get this thing off him and go back to doing the crazy, outlandish things that he would do, and he cannot now because this physical representation of a conscience or a monkey on the back is now forcing him to be this hero that he never wanted to be. So hopefully that doesn't stop you from buying book 1, which pretty much explains that, but I figure I got to give you a little bit so that you'll be interested in what's going on with them. So there's another shot right there. So now we've got 3 different pretty common comic book facial shots or whatever. So now the dreaded upshot, and please don't laugh at me because this is probably my weakest my weakest one, but that's why I practiced it, because with more and more practice I'll eventually hopefully be able to look back at some point in my art career and go, God, remember when I couldn't draw that nasty upshot, and now I just love it. I've mastered it. I don't know if that'll ever happen, but we'll see. And I'm not the type to give up, so I'm sure at some point I will get it. But what throws me off about this, okay, and I've already started off wrong. This actually should have a perspective where the jaw is thicker, the head narrows down to the top. You know, not too extreme. Well, I guess depending on the field of view or the extremeness of the upshot. But you know, it should definitely be there, apparent. And let's see. The part that always gets me is the shape of the jawbone, because you want it to start almost pointing back up, but it has to be pretty extreme. If you look in the mirror and you start raising your head up, you'll notice that you have to really raise your head up pretty high before your jawbone will start to point up. So, and then the relationship to the jaws or whatever to the chin is another big factor to that. So I'll go ahead and start filling in the lines. And again, now that it's an upshot, the eyes are going to be higher. The forehead is going to be more shallow, like so. The brows will be higher. And the angle of those will look different because we're looking up at it. So I guess what I'm going to do, since I'm so horrible at this, on the rest I kind of did a shorthand through them. This one I'm going to try to fill a little bit more in. I'm going to draw the shape of the ocular cavities like that, somewhat. Fill in the cheekbone here, keeping in mind that it's proportionately widening out. Now this part, here's my chin, or Blackstone's chin, not my chin. And this is going to start to bow this way to really come forward. So here's the chin. I'm just going to piece all these little, here's the jaw muscle. I'm going to sketch all this in so that I give myself more information than I normally would. So it'll look somewhat overdrawn. And the roundedness to the mouth and the laugh line areas, I guess. And now the mouth will appear to bend outward and around like this. And now that we're looking up, the lower lip will look very shallow, and you'll see more of the upper lip. And I can almost just hear people snickering on the other side of the internet as I'm drawing this, so quiet down back there. I'm sure there's things you can't draw as well too. It's not funny. Okay, so the brow, and then again you kind of round it out, and you kind of, the brow or the head at the steep angle would almost just kind of disappear, like I don't know what to compare it to, I guess, but horizon maybe, like how things fade off in the horizon. At a very dramatic angle of the head, you would try to emulate that. Now the part that's really bothering me about this, I'll fill in the eyes, is the jaw. And that's always the part I struggle with. Oh, and by the way, the eyes at a very extreme angle looking up, they would also round up like the mouth, like this. But yeah, so the jaw, you know, this whole design, you know, subpar, whatever. It's not the greatest. I wouldn't totally veto the bill right now, but you know, I'm not digging it. But let me pan back. Yeah, see, when we pan back, it starts to look really flat and really distorted. So yeah, I'm not digging that at all. But I did forewarn you. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to erase this jawline because that's the part that I think is killing it the most. All the way up to about here. Now I'm going to start here again. I'm going to just kind of freestyle where I think the jaw would be. And even at this extreme angle, I feel like it would still come down to the chin and then back up. Let me see if I'm right. You know, and I kind of fill this stuff out, you know, when I'm struggling with a certain area of a drawing. I'll just kind of keep redrawing. I'll probably blue line this, tone it down, redraw over top of it, and really try to feel it out. And if worse comes to worse and I just can't get it, I'll go to reference or looking in the mirror, whatever it takes. But I generally can, you know, work through it, and I think I make myself because it's, you got to think in, uh, you got to think of deadlines and timelines, especially now that I'm producing a comic book by myself. So I have to draw my stuff relatively fast and sometimes just live with it and move on, even though that really it sucks sometimes. But if I keep redrawing and redrawing and drawing and never get anything out, then you know a bad product is better than no product at all, I guess. So yeah, I'm still not digging that jawline, but let me pan back again. And another trick, and I'm sure you guys are aware of this if you've done any serious drawing and followed stuff on YouTube here, is always flip your artwork. That's another good way to see any flaws. Mirror the artwork and draw over it, and you can generally pick out things that you wouldn't have seen on the first glance, I guess. Yeah, I'm not digging that, but you know, it's not horrible. It's just not that great of an upshot. Now, it would be a lot easier if my character had a nose, because I could draw on the wedge shape here, and it'd give me another landmark to figure out what's right or wrong, when you can start doing this and going, okay, now that sits there, okay, I see the mouth should be up a little higher, or whatever, um, a lot of times, people shy away from details, but details actually, I call them landmarks, they give you more to work with, not less. So, um, I know a lot of people probably look at this and go, well, you made Blackstone up and you didn't give him these facial features so it could make your drawing easier or something. And no, I really did it because I wanted him to look a bit more alien, and aside from not, I didn't want to draw little green men. Um, I wanted him to look, mean and ominous, but uh, so that's essentially why I came up with this kind of look for him, but to each your own, hopefully you guys dig the look of him and see what I see or whatever. Okay, so yeah, there'd be some highlights like that. All right, and then there'd be this creepy alien coming off his back, and don't worry, he doesn't talk. The alien's just kind of there, and but he sways his decisions. And I won't tell you how. You have to pick up the book to see what's going on there, but it's not like somebody that's on his back going, okay, Blackstone, now let's head over here and do this. It's not quite that verbal or that easy, but it does control his decision making in the way that it won't let him do the evils that he was up to before he came in contact with the parasite. So, all right, well there you go, everybody. Hopefully you enjoyed that, and hopefully it was somewhat informational, or at least give you an idea of how I go about drawing these various poses and getting a better idea what my characters are going to look like as I progress through the book and draw my scenes. So thanks very much for watching. Be sure to subscribe. Also, if you know anybody else that would be interested, be sure to let them know and share it. I greatly appreciate that. You can check out more of my work at ramstudios1.deviantart. And yeah, thanks very much. Be sure to like it. Take care of yourself and keep drawing. Bye-bye.